Okay, so let's see what we have this week. The markets are closed, which for me it's the best time to analyze the charts. I usually get asked what pairs do I trade or what's my favorite pair, and I don't really have a favorite. I just trade whatever looks ready to trade. These are all the pairs that I look at, but I don't trade them all. I usually just look through them, analyze them, and see what's ready for the week. I just have them on my watch list because these are major currency pairs. So I already did look through them all, and out of all of them, these are the ones that I'm anticipating a move for next week, which I'm going to go through and explain what I'm waiting for to take a trade. So the first one is Euro USD, and what I saw here was that the weekly was bearish, and then we had the daily as bearish as well, and we had the 4 hour as bearish. So this already tells me that we should be selling versus buying. It's a stronger bias to sell than buy. So I do a top-down analysis where I look at the weekday and 4 hour for my trend, and so far the trend is telling me to sell. So what I am waiting for is for this 1 hour here to retest this area where we have been before and sold from. It's been there, sold. So I'm anticipating it to continue selling since we are under that area. So what I'll be waiting for is a 1 hour retest. So something like this. Waiting for it to make it here, and then once it's here, then I will look for an entry signal to then enter to sell. So what I'm anticipating is some sort of setup like this. My take profit would be probably here, and then my stop loss would be somewhere above this area. Where is it going to be exactly, I'm not sure yet until that 1 hour retests and I see an entry. I usually tend to go to 1 to 2 risk to reward ratios, which I'm okay with having a stop loss that's about this big, but I don't see it being that size. It could be potentially smaller, so I'll get like a 1 to 3 risk to reward. We'll just have to wait and see what happens. The next pair is GBP USD. And this one, as you can see on here, I am also looking for a sell because we could see that we have the weekly as bearish. We have the daily as bearish as well. And then we also have the 4 hour as bearish. Yeah, 4 hour as bearish. So this again, we have 3 time frames in sync, so this tells us that we should be looking to sell versus buy. And what I'm waiting for to enter this trade is for a 4 hour retest. So I'm waiting for this 4 hour to come back into this area here and retest it, and then that will tell me that we are potentially ready to enter sales. But again, I'm not doing anything right now until that happens. So that's what I'm looking for on that one. And my take profit will probably be somewhere around this area here on the day. So when that 4 hour does make it, my take profit will be somewhere here, and then my stop loss again somewhere above this area of interest, which I'm not sure where it's going to be yet until that 4-hour retests that area. So again, like a 1 to 2.5. Nav is AUD CAD, and here I'm looking for another sell. I'm waiting for this 4-hour to also retest. It did reject it kind of almost 3 times here, but I'm looking for another better 4-hour retest. As we can see, this one is bullish on the weekly. And the day here is bearish. And let's look at the 4-hour, and the 4-hour is also bearish. So it's also bearish. So, like what I wrote here, we're waiting for this 4-hour to come back to this area again and retest it. And once that does happen, then we'll be interested in looking to sell. Which then our take profit, again, let's see where we can see it going. If my stop loss is above this area somewhere, potentially see it going back to this level here. We might have to make our stop loss a little bit smaller, but it could potentially make it to this area here. So we could have a bigger take profit, and that way we can have a bigger stop loss to be a little bit safer. But yeah, not my favorite one, but again, we'll just wait to see what happens. We'll have to just wait till 4-hour retest that, or if it doesn't, it might just never retest it and it just goes down, and that's okay too. The next pair is AUD CHF, and this one I am also selling, so I'm waiting for a daily retest on this one. So this one we could see we have the week as bearish, and our daily is also bearish. And we have our 4-hour as bearish as well. So this one I'm waiting for a daily retest. So this one I'm waiting for a day to come back in this area. And then once it does, and then I'll see if I get an entry or not to then enter for a sell. So this one again, my take profit would be somewhere around here, and my stop loss will be somewhere above this area here. Again, this one's like a 1.17, so it's not my favorite one either. I might get a better entry depending on what happens, or on how high this comes and retests, because it could potentially enter up here, but we'll see what happens. This is kind of what I'm looking for. And the next one is GBP JPY. This one I'm looking for a buy. So we have here a bullish weekly, and then we have a bullish daily, Let's check the 4 hour. And the 4 hour here. The 4 hour is bearish, but that's okay because we have the higher time frames in sync as bullish. So we do have a bearish 4 hour. But what I'm really waiting for is the day to come back in here, retest, and then we'll see what happens after that. That's pretty much it. And then our potential take profit could be somewhere above here. And then our stop loss will be somewhere below this area of interest here. Something like that. But we'll just have to wait until it makes it there. And then our final pair is GBP CAD. And this one I'm looking for a sell, because we have the weekly as bearish here. Let's check the daily. Daily we also have it as bearish. And then our 4 hour. Our 4 hour is bullish. And then what I wrote here is that I'm waiting for a 4 hour shift. So I would rather be more interested in selling this once this 4 hour can shift here. And then I'm waiting for a retest of some level. Just gotta wait to see how far that shift happens. And then once that happens, I'm waiting for that retest to potentially enter a sell. So this one might take more time than the other ones, which is why this is the order I have them in. I have them in how soon the trade will happen. So this one is the one I think is gonna happen the soonest. I believe I should be looking for an entry around London session today. If not, then New York. So yeah, so these are the pairs I'm interested in for the week. You could also follow my Instagram at Mojica Markets, where I'll post if I enter the trade or not. And if I'm in the trade, then I'll show progress and any updates on the trade and how it's going. If you have any questions on anything about trading, you can DM me and I'll answer your questions. And then we'll see what happens next week.